Let's be honest, monopoly isn't exactly the sexiest word. It sounds like something you'd hear during a boring economics lecture, but trust me, this is important stuff. In the simplest terms, a monopoly is like that kid in your class who hoarded all the good snacks at lunchtime. They control the entire supply of something, leaving everyone else with empty lunchboxes and a bad case of snack envy. In the business world, monopolies mean one company gets to call all the shots in a particular market. They dictate the price, the quality, and even how much is available. Think of it like having only one restaurant in town. You eat what they serve or you go hungry. Now imagine that scenario playing out in essential industries like telecommunications, energy, or even healthcare. Suddenly the stakes get a whole lot higher than a grumbling stomach. That's why understanding monopolies is crucial. It's about ensuring fairness, competition, and ultimately a functioning economy. So how does Namibia measure up in the monopoly department? Let's dive deeper into the intricacies of this issue. Well, like many developing countries, we've got our fair share of challenges. Small businesses often struggle to survive in an environment where resources are limited and competition is fierce. We're talking about a country where vast distances and a relatively small population can make it tough for new businesses to gain a foothold. The sheer scale of the land and the sparse distribution of people mean that reaching potential customers is a significant hurdle. This often creates a breeding ground for monopolies, especially in sectors like telecommunications, mining, and utilities. These industries require substantial investment and infrastructure, which can be prohibitive for new entrants. Think about it. Laying down thousands of miles of fiber optic cable or building a power grid isn't cheap or easy. The initial costs are astronomical, and the maintenance isn't a walk in the park either. It's a massive undertaking that not many companies can pull off. Only those with significant financial backing and resources can even consider entering these markets. This naturally limits the playing field, giving early birds a significant advantage that can easily morph into a monopoly. Once a company establishes itself, it becomes increasingly difficult for others to compete. But hold on, it's not all doom and gloom. There are positive developments on the horizon that give us hope for a more competitive future. Namibia has made some strides in recent years to promote competition and curb the power of monopolies. The government has recognized the need for a fair playing field and has taken steps to address these issues. We've seen the introduction of new regulations, the establishment of competition authorities, and even some success stories of smaller players entering the market. These measures are designed to encourage innovation and provide opportunities for new businesses to thrive. Additionally, there are educational programs and business training workshops aimed at equipping entrepreneurs with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed. Community development projects are also playing a crucial role in fostering a supportive environment for new ventures. Experts believe that with continued effort and the right policies, Namibia can overcome its challenges and create a more dynamic and competitive economy. The collaboration between the government, private sector, and civil society is key to driving this change. Technological advancements and renewable energy projects are also opening up new avenues for growth. Innovative startups are emerging, bringing fresh ideas and solutions to the market. These developments are not only beneficial for the economy, but also for the overall quality of life in Namibia. In conclusion, while Namibia faces significant challenges in combating monopolies, there is a concerted effort to create a more equitable and competitive landscape. With continued dedication and strategic initiatives, the future looks promising for businesses and consumers alike. Let's face it, monopolies don't just magically appear overnight. They are the culmination of calculated strategies and long-term planning. They're the result of shrewd business tactics, sometimes bordering on the ruthless. These tactics are often well hidden behind a facade of legitimate business practices. One classic move is the economic squeeze play. This involves a series of maneuvers designed to weaken competitors and consolidate market power. Imagine a big telecom giant slashing prices to ridiculously low levels, practically giving away their services. This is often done under the guise of a promotional offer or a customer appreciation campaign. Sounds great for consumers, right? Well, not so fast. While it may seem like a win for the average person, the long-term consequences are far from beneficial. This predatory pricing is designed to undercut smaller competitors, forcing them out of business. These smaller companies simply can't afford to match the low prices and eventually have to shut down. Once the competition is out of the picture, guess who gets to jack up the prices? You got it, the monopoly man. With no rivals left, they can set prices as high as they want, and consumers have no choice but to pay. But it's not always about brute economic force. Monopolies often employ a variety of tactics to maintain their dominance. Sometimes monopolies cozy up to the government, whispering sweet nothings about investment and economic growth. They promise job creation and infrastructure development in exchange for favorable treatment. This can lead to favorable regulations, tax breaks, and even exclusive licenses, effectively shutting out any potential rivals. These government-backed advantages make it nearly impossible for new entrants to compete. And then there's the merger mania approach. This is where two already large companies decide to join forces, creating a behemoth that dominates the market. These mergers are often framed as beneficial for consumers, promising better services and lower prices. However, the reality is often quite different. The newly formed entity has even more power to dictate terms, leaving consumers with fewer choices and higher prices in the long run. It's like two scorpions deciding to share a tiny shoebox. Someone's getting stung. The market becomes a battleground, and the casualties are often the smaller businesses and the consumers. History is filled with examples of monopolies that have used these tactics to gain and maintain their power. From the oil barons of the early 20th century to the tech giants of today, the playbook remains largely the same. In the modern era, tech companies have become the new monopolies. They use data and algorithms to outmaneuver competitors, often buying out potential rivals before they can become a threat. These companies have access to vast amounts of data, giving them an unprecedented advantage. They know what consumers want before the consumers themselves do, allowing them to stay one step ahead. They present themselves as innovators and disruptors, but in reality, they're often just as ruthless as the monopolies of old. Their goal is the same: to dominate the market and eliminate competition. So, the next time you see a company offering unbelievably low prices or promising the world, take a moment to think about the bigger picture. What seems like a great deal today could lead to higher prices and fewer choices tomorrow. Monopolies muscle their way in through a combination of economic force, government influence, and strategic mergers. Understanding these tactics is the first step in recognizing and challenging their power. By staying informed and supporting fair competition, we can help ensure a market that benefits everyone, not just the monopolies. The government's balancing act, taming the monopoly beast. So, what's the government doing about all this monopoly mayhem? Well, it's a bit of a tightrope walk. On the one hand, they want to encourage investment and economic growth, which often means playing nice with big businesses, even if they happen to be monopolies. But on the other hand, they also have a responsibility to protect consumers from price gouging, unfair competition, and the potential downsides of unchecked corporate power. It's like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle. Tricky business. That's where competition laws and regulations come in. These are designed to create a more level playing field by preventing anti-competitive practices like price fixing, market sharing, and abuse of dominance. Think of it like a referee in a boxing match. They're there to make sure everyone fights fair and that no one gets pummeled into oblivion, metaphorically speaking, of course. Public perception, friend or foe? When it comes to monopolies, public opinion is about as clear as a mud puddle. The topic stirs up a whirlwind of emotions and opinions, making it a hot-button issue in many communities. Some folks see them as necessary evils, arguing that they bring stability, investment, and even lower prices in the long run. They believe that monopolies can drive economic growth by investing in infrastructure and creating jobs. For instance, a monopoly might build new roads, schools, or hospitals, which can significantly improve the quality of life in a community. Others view them with suspicion, associating them with corporate greed, exploitation, and a general decline in the quality of goods and services. They worry that monopolies can stifle competition, leading to higher prices and fewer choices for consumers. This perspective is often fueled by stories of monopolistic practices that have harmed small businesses and local economies. It's like trying to herd cats. Everyone has a different opinion, and they're not afraid to voice it. In town hall meetings, community forums, and even casual conversations, the debate rages on. People passionately argue their points, often drawing from personal experiences and anecdotes to support their views. The truth is, public perception of monopolies is often shaped by personal experiences. If you've ever felt ripped off by sky-high prices or frustrated by the lack of choices in the market, you're probably more inclined to see monopolies as the bad guys. These negative experiences can leave a lasting impression, making it difficult to see any potential benefits that monopolies might offer. If you've ever felt ripped off by sky-high prices or frustrated by the lack of choices in the market, you're probably more inclined to see monopolies as the bad guys. The frustration of dealing with poor customer service, limited product availability, and high costs can be overwhelming, leading to a deep-seated resentment towards monopolistic companies. On the other hand, if you've benefited from a monopoly's investment in your community or enjoyed the convenience of their services, you might view them more favorably. For example, a monopoly might provide reliable utilities such as electricity and water, or offer high-quality internet services that make life easier and more convenient. These positive experiences can create a sense of loyalty and appreciation for the monopoly. It all depends on where you stand in the economic landscape. Your job, your income, and your access to resources all play a role in shaping your perspective on monopolies. For some, monopolies represent progress and opportunity, while for others, they symbolize inequality and exploitation. The debate is complex and multifaceted, reflecting the diverse experiences and opinions of people across Namibia and beyond. I am Milton Lowe, and this is my vision for a future Namibia.